This year, we saw a number of smartphone manufacturers trying to topple Xiaomi's dominance in the affordable and mid-range space in their own ways. Asus made some impactful strides with its M-series Zenphones, and the latest Zenfone Max Pro M2 takes the game to a whole new level. Just as last year's Max Pro M1, the new M2 Pro also ditches Zen UI in favor of stock Android, and Asus plays by a familiar formula here. For instance, there is the powerful Snapdragon 660 processor, a big battery, trendy design, and all that for a price tag that undercuts the competition. But does the formula still work? Is Zenfone Max Pro M2 a better phone than, say, the Redmi Note 6 Pro or the Realme 2 Pro? Well, we have been testing it for about 2 weeks now, and let's share all details in our review that follows. Let's first talk about the design. Unfortunately, Asus brings in some much needed improvements this time. I mean, the Max M1 was kind of clunky and its triple layer design felt kind of outdated from the very start. The Max Pro M2 has a 3D glass look, which is still all plastic, but it's curved in the right places and is good to hold and good to look at. A lot has changed on the front too. There's a wide notch at the top that accommodates earpiece, selfie camera, LED flash, and other regular sensors. Asus has also trimmed down the bezels and there are hardly any, save for the chin at the bottom. But the best part is that in spite of having a 5000 mAh battery, the phone feels perfectly comfortable to wield. It weighs just 175 grams and the weight is well balanced. As far as the build quality is concerned, there are no flexes or breaks in the body and the fascia is protected by Gorilla Glass 6. The back panel, however, is prone to smudges and scratches, and it's a good thing that Asus bundles a good quality case cover in the box. The Max Pro M2 employs a 6.26-inch Full HD Plus LCD panel with 19:9 aspect ratio, and quality-wise this is one of the best IPS LCD screens you can get in this price bracket. The whites are close to neutral, colors are vibrant, and contrast is high. The outdoor visibility is workable if not stellar. The Max Pro M2 also has a wide notch at the top and you cannot hide it. We did notice that Asus needs to do a better job optimizing its notch for different popular apps. The remaining status bar space is reserved for system icons, and you cannot see any app notification icon on the status bar. Also, it must be mentioned that if for some reason you're deciding between Zenfone Max Pro M2 and Zenfone Max M2, the two recently launched models, the Max Pro M2 has a much better display than the Max M2. So if you're deciding between the two models, this is something you should keep in mind. Moving on, let's talk about the performance. Asus understands the need for a compelling chipset on an online exclusive blockbuster and duly endows the Max Pro M2 with the powerful octa-core Snapdragon 660 mobile platform, which is the same chipset that powers the likes of Xiaomi Mi A2 and Realme 2 Pro, and which is also more powerful than Snapdragon 636 that you'll find on phones like Redmi Note 6 Pro or the original Zenfone Max Pro M1. Max Pro M2 comes in 3 variants with up to 4GB RAM and up to 64GB of storage. RAM is LPDDR4X and storage is eMMC 5.1. All models also have a dedicated card slot that you could use to add another 2TB of secondary storage. In our practical experience, the performance was excellent. The day-to-day usage and multitasking are butter smooth, and we didn't face any issue with extended high-end gaming. Games like PUBG and SL 9 ran without any stutters. In fact, with its big battery and all that processing power, Zenfone Max Pro M2 is an excellent phone for gaming. The fingerprint sensor, which was one point of contention on the original Max Pro M1, has been fixed. It's now fast and consistent, and so is the face unlock. Moving on to the software, Asus offers stock Android experience on the Zenfone Max Pro M2, and the phone currently runs Android 8.1 Oreo. However, company promises that Android Pie update is under works and should be delivered sometime early next year. Pre-installed apps include Facebook apps, FM radio, calculator, and the Snapdragon camera. The Zenfone Max Pro M2 has DRM-L1 certificate for HD streaming, but it doesn't support HD streaming on Netflix and Amazon Prime as of now. Overall, the hardware-software combination qualifies as a big strength for Zenfone Max Pro M2. The 5000 mAh battery on the Max Pro M2 can very comfortably last for a day and a half. So basically, even if you are a heavy user, you won't have any problem lasting through a day. official website mentions fast charging, but the bundle charger takes around 2 hours and 30 minutes to completely charge the battery, which is kinda slow. As for connectivity options, the handset supports dual 4G VoLTE, but dual band Wi-Fi is not supported. We didn't face any issue with call quality in our area. On the rear, the Zenfone Max Pro M2 has a 12 megapixel Sony IMX486 sensor paired with a 5 megapixel depth sensor. Out of these, the primary sensor has an f1.8 aperture lens, phase detection autofocus, and can shoot 4K videos. The camera app is still minimalistic, but it's a lot better than what we had last time. Still, options like auto HDR and other fancy shooting modes are missing. As for the camera performance, well, it has significantly improved this generation. In proper lighting, the camera can capture accurate colors and ample details. In low lighting, the performance deteriorates, but is still quite decent. Video recording needs to get better though. As for portrait mode, it's again a hit or miss case, just as most of the dual camera phones in this budget. On the front, the Zenfone Max Pro M2 has a 13 megapixel sensor with f2.0 aperture. The selfies captured are fairly decent as well. Overall, the Zenfone Max Pro M2 may not have the best camera in its class, but the camera is still workable and it's surely not a deal breaker. Quality wise, we would rate it as better than what you'd get with the Realme 2 Pro, but not as good as what you get on the Redmi Note 6 Pro. To sum it up, the Asus Zenfone Max Pro M2 sincerely adheres to the recipe for instant online success. It has all the right ingredients: a powerful Snapdragon 660 chipset, stock Android software, trendy design, big battery, and a price that undercuts the competition. More importantly, it feels like a significant upgrade to the last year's Zenfone Max Pro M1. All the issues that we had with its successor have now been resolved. In spite of the long-lasting battery, the phone looks and feels awesome. The fingerprint sensor now works as it should, and the display quality is impressive. The cameras have also been improved a lot. And also, the Zenfone Max Pro M2 is an excellent option for gaming. So the pros include great design, display quality, its battery backup, a dedicated card slot, and of course the excellent performance. On the downside, the camera interface needs to get better. The phone still doesn't support HD streaming in spite of the L1 certificate, and the back panel is a bit prone to smudges. It will primarily go up against the likes of Realme 2 Pro, Realme U1 and Redmi Note 6 Pro, and will enjoy a stock Android advantage over its rivals. Long story short, Zenfone Max Pro M2 is one of those phones that we can heartily recommend. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.